Hey everybody, it's Dr. Amy Myers. Forgive the disruption here. The computer, I didn't realize it was all on. Craziness. As I was trying, my camera that wasn't working, so I had to
Hey everybody, it's Dr. Amy Myers.
Forgive the camera situation. So I apologize about that. Happy Friday. I am live Friday afternoon. Forgive me for being a few minutes late, but we are going to be talking about something super near and dear to my heart, which is all about Candida. So today, for those of you who are not familiar with me, I'm Dr. Amy Myers. I'm the New York Times bestselling author of The Autoimmune Solution and the Thyroid Connection. I'm also the medical director of Austin Ultra Health. Please be sure to say hi, tell me where you're from. Let's see who's here already. Again, super sorry that I was late. We have Robin, hello, how are you? I'm gonna give it a minute and let some other people join because I know that I was a bit late. So the holiday season is upon us. So if you're curious about what's going on in my personal life, besides my camera not working at home, you are welcome to hop on over to Instagram, and I frequently do Instagram stories. So I already have some stuff up. My daughter was helping me wrap some presents earlier today. We've got the tree up. So if you're curious about any of that, head on over to Instagram and you can check that out. But during the holidays, our routines get disrupted. We're of course going to lots of parties, maybe even potlucks, and tons of events. So we're going to be tempted by all kinds of sweet treats, alcohol, and things that perhaps are not on the Myers way. Additionally, it's a high stress time and lots of people are getting sick. In fact, Elle, my daughter, got sick for the first time after Thanksgiving. And after working many, many late nights here recently, trying to get through our Black Friday sale, and then we're doing a new store on my website, lots of late nights, I seem to have picked it up. So many people are getting sick. She might have to go on antibiotics. And all of these things can disrupt your gut health and lead to something that is very near and dear to my own heart, which is Candida, or yeast overgrowth. So it looks like we have a few more people already here. Hi, Cindy. Hi, Vicky from Florida. Hi, Julie. Hi, Faye from Iowa. Erica, how are you? We have Zanya. Misty is here as well. Hi, Misty. Hey, Julia. Hey, Emily. Hey, Eric. Gayla, Tammy, Dawn, and I already mentioned hello, Julie. And it looks like my husband Javier's on as well. So, so let's kick it off and start talking about what is Candida or yeast overgrowth. Why is it so common, particularly during the holidays? Do you want to know one of the main reasons I have a flood of patients coming in, every January with kicked up symptoms of things? A lot of times it's because they had Candida in the past and they got it again over the holidays, or they never had it and it's their first time to it after overindulging, the stress, all the stuff that comes with the holidays, perhaps antibiotics if you've gotten sick, things like that. So we're going to talk about why it's so common, how to prevent it, and most importantly, a sneak peek into huge savings on my #1 tool for overcoming Candida. So I'm going to jump ahead a little bit and just say that twice a year, I do a Candida challenge, and I will be talking to you about that afterwards and some big savings. And it is a huge, huge hit when I do this, because I'll talk about how twice a year we have unprecedented level of support, which is lots of time with me being able to ask me questions. But before I get there, for those of you who are not, who are new to Candida or yeast overgrowth, let's just talk about what it is. And you will hear me refer to Candida interchangeably from yeast overgrowth, all the time, and certainly on this Facebook Live right now. So Candida is the most common form of yeast, but there are many different forms of yeast out there, and you can have a different form. But what I'm talking to you about today, even if I use the word Candida, will apply to you in that type of yeast. So we all have a little bit of yeast that's always living in our mouth and our GI tract that's there. If you've heard me talk about the gut and it being a rainforest, this is what I mean. We have good bacteria, we have bad bacteria, we have parasites, we have viruses, we have yeast in there. It's all living in there together cohesively in balance. And so this yeast is actually there, a little bit of it is naturally there to help us with our nutrient absorption And, we all have it. So normally our good bacteria are in this rainforest, everybody's in balance, right? There's a little bit of yeast, a little bit of virus, a little bit of bad bacteria, lots of really good bacteria. And that really good bacteria is ruling the roost and keeping everybody else in check. But when we have things like antibiotics we all know about, but eating a high sugar diet, eating, fermented foods, which people think are really good for you. Well, it kind of depends. They can be really good, but I'll talk to you about why they can also be bad for some people as well. So those fermented foods are fermented with yeast. Alcohols, of course, like a beer or a wine are fermented as well. I have my system propped up here and I got to fix it. So excuse me one second. There we go. Okay. So I didn't want y'all staring at my double chin the whole time since my normal, my normal camera wasn't working. I had to use my computer and lift it up. So our gut can get out of balance with these sugary foods, fermented foods, alcohols, and even stress. So even if you're not somebody who's straying from your diet during the holidays, even if you don't get sick and you don't need antibiotics, stress in and of itself can disrupt your microbiome, which can lead to stress, leads to high cortisol, leads to high estrogens. High estrogens lead to Candida overgrowth. So we really want to be careful about our stress levels during the holidays as well. Looks like we have a few more people that I just wanted to say hello to. Zanya, hey Nathan, how's it going? Dawn, Cornelia, Ellen from Charleston, we were just there. So Zanya saying, she's got Candida, then thrush, now vitiligo, and not sure what supplements to take. I'll go over that with you, Zanya, here. And y'all can certainly ask me questions related to Candida below. My team will get those over to me. Hey, Dana. Hey, Deborah. Hey, Patricia. Hey, Leslie. How's it going? It's been a while since I've seen you. Margot, Nancy. All right. So we all have a little bit of yeast or Candida, but it can get out of control when our rainforest or our balance, good bacteria, gets out of balance. And that can be from either eating high sugary foods, fermented foods, we get sick, we need antibiotics, or even stress can disrupt it. Now, you might think, okay, well, what's really the big deal? I got a little bit of yeast. I maybe get recurrent vaginal infections. I take something, I take some supplements, I take a diflucan, it's gone. Well, sometimes those are just outward manifestations of something that's really going on deeper. And where I'm talking and where I see it mostly in my clinic is in people's guts. And when it's in your gut and it's disrupting that microbiome, I mean, it kind of, grows out of control if you're thinking about a forest. And in fact, yeast can kind of lay a layer over our gut. And if you've been following me, that 60 to 80% of our immune system is right there in our gut. And so I see a lot of people with Candida and they have suppressed immune systems. They have low fecal IgAs in their gut. So when I say 60 to 80% of your immune system's in your gut, sometimes the yeast, what we believe, it can lay a layer and then you can't make your immune system. You also can't make your neurotransmitters. So nearly 95% of all of our serotonin is made in our gut. And what happens is not only does that potentially in some people mean that they might get depressed or feel melancholy, which only, of course, exacerbates things. And then, people with immune issues, it might suppress their immune system, which of course can create a cascade. But it can also really be an underlying root cause for leaky gut, which if any of you guys follow me, you know that leaky gut is really one of the main root causes for pretty much all chronic conditions, particularly autoimmunity. And so what happens is that as the yeast begins to colonize in your gut, as the gut gets leaky, it can literally, sort of, for lack of a better word, spread throughout your body. Now, there's a true medical emergency, which is candidiasis and systemic candidiasis, and that's where it's literally in your blood, and that can be life-threatening. That's not what we're talking about today. We're just talking about a general overgrowth where it's it's more populated than your good bacteria, and then it becomes a problem and can cause leaky gut. And then what happens from there is when you have Candida, it can release a toxic byproduct called acetaldehyde. And this is the same alcohol that you have, that your liver produces when you drink alcohol. So it's why some people, when they have Candida, can literally feel drunk. It's why people can have brain fog. It's why people can feel fatigued. So, and then of course, when you're killing off Candida, many people experience something called die-off. That might be a new term to you, or it might be an old term to you. But that die-off is really when they're killing the yeast, and it's that extra release of that acetaldehyde that's literally toxic to your brain. It's a neurotoxin. And so that's why Candida can have a lot of different symptoms that many conventional doctors really don't understand or recognize as Candida. So it's one of my, you guys know conventional medicine failed me. It's my mission to not have it fail you too. And this is one of the areas that really irritates me with conventional medicine because, and hey, as a conventional doctor, I didn't believe in it either. So, I get it. But I have patients who go to doctor that eventually just get told either there's nothing wrong with them or that they're crazy and they need to go see a psychiatrist, when really there is something wrong with them. And for many of those people, I found their root cause to end up being Candida. And Candida can lead to a whole host of symptoms. So you might be out there wondering, do I have Candida? Well, let me go over some things that I think of when I, think about Candida. And if you're saying yes to any of these symptoms, you may have Candida. So brain fog is the #1 symptom that I hear with Candida. Memory problems, difficulty concentrating. Remember, there's a toxic alcohol in there that the yeast are producing that cause these symptoms. Fatigue, lots of skin issues for people, just generalized itching, rashes that nobody can kind of figure out, rashes that are coming and going, rashes that stay in a moist kind of area. Of course, true fungal infection rashes like ringworm, tinea versicolor, and then autoimmune rashes like rosacea. Even vitiligo, I've seen some, and then more inflammatory rashes like rosacea or eczema. All of these I have seen either Candida be the sole root cause, meaning we get rid of the Candida, it's gone, or part of the root cause. With some of these other inflammatory conditions like rosacea and eczema and psoriasis, certainly food can be a real issue as well, like gluten and dairy. So skin issues can have a yeast component and a food component, and for many people it has both. Of course, yeast, because it's in your gut, can be causing a lot of digestive symptoms. It can be anything from constipation to diarrhea, and of course, bloating is a big one that I hear. Now, bloating in and of itself, just bloating, no other symptoms, typically could also be food sensitivities or small intestinal bacterial overgrowth or SIBO. I do think about Candida as well, particularly when you have any of the other systemic symptoms that I'm referring to, like the fatigue, the brain fog, the rashes, stuff like that. Of course, if you're somebody with recurrent vaginal or urinary tract infections, rectal itching, vaginal itching, these are what are called pathognomonic for yeast. Mood issues, again, because it's laying a layer over our gut and we can't make our neurotransmitters. Plus, we have the acetaldehyde messing with your mind. So it can cause irritability, mood swings, anxiety, depression. People who have allergies, seasonal allergies, itchy ears, allergic reactions to things, histamine issues. This can all be Candida. And then, of course, all those people are beating themselves up for these strong sugar cravings. So strong sugar cravings can literally just be strong sugar cravings. They can be adrenal issues, but they can be the yeast. I mean, the yeast needs to be fed, and it gets fed by sugar and carbohydrates. And so it literally, there's kind of a joke, but it's true with, as they've done fecal transplants, they've realized that they've done fecal transplants of skinny rat poop and put it into a fat rat, and then the fat rat gets skinny, and normal, rats that aren't anxious, and then they put anxious rat poops into the rat and they get anxious. So we really realize that the microbiome, we're kind of the puppet, and the microbiome is ruling the roost. And so if you have a microbiome that's filled with yeast that needs to be fed by sugar, it could literally be ruling you and causing those cravings. So looks like there's a whole, so Devi's asking about probiotics. I'll certainly get into that. Yes, you want lots of good probiotics to help fight off the yeast. And Somebody's asking about which test we should do. My team's going to put all these questions down for us, but I have an article that goes over that. And of course, I have an entire program that will walk you through all of that. Okay, so we've kind of talked about what is Candida, what are some symptoms. So if you were saying yes to any of those things, definitely have Candida on your radar. You know, there are a few things that are kind of like a magic bullet in my clinic. One certainly can be things like progesterone for women who are perimenopause or menopause and they're having sleep issues. That's been a real magic bullet for people. But treating Candida is one of the biggest magic bullets that I have in my clinic. And I don't have many magic bullets, but it is bang for your buck of people that I've seen life transforming. Fibromyalgia, I didn't even bring that one up. I've had a lot of people with fibromyalgia, and we treat the Candida, fibromyalgia gone. So this Candida can really do a lot of crazy havoc to the body and create a whole host of different symptoms. And then of course, as I mentioned, it can create leaky gut. And then once we have leaky gut, everybody knows, or if you don't, certainly pick up a copy of the Autoimmune Solution or the Thyroid Connection, and you'll know about how having that leaky gut leads to inflammation. And then that allows things like food particles, infections, toxins to come through the bloodstream. Our immune system sitting right there goes on high alert, goes to attack these things and can inadvertently attack our own tissues because they look very similar. So that's a process called molecular mimicry. And so, you know, Candida can really be the gateway for some people to autoimmunity. And, you know, I've tested literally thousands of people through stool testing in my clinic and have thousands of people with autoimmunity in my clinic. And Candida seems to be a underlying root cause for most all of them. So we're heading into the holidays. I've already told you that, you know, this can be a time either between the stress, it's the winter months, people are getting sick, they might have to go on antibiotics or something. And then people are eating a lot more sugary, carby, starchy foods. So what can we do during the holidays to prevent Candida from coming? So of course, you want to limit your carbs. You want to limit the starchy foods. You want to limit the sugars coming in. So, you know, making desserts with stevia or with things that aren't quite as refined. You, of course, want to limit your alcohol. And I talked a lot about this. I had two Facebook Lives that I did over the Black Friday and holiday weekend last weekend. So you can go back and watch those where I really talk about a lot of tips of how to survive the holidays, not only specific to Candida. So if you're interested, those are up on either YouTube or Facebook, and I highly encourage you to listen to them. I also talk about my travel tips and things that I do, so that's all available to you. So, you know, getting through the holidays is kind of a you know, huge topic, and we're gonna limit it here to just talking about Candida in the holidays, but I did just do 2 Facebook Lives talking about stress in the holidays, healing your gut and keeping your gut healthy during the holidays, travel tips during the holidays. So those are all up on Facebook Live. If you miss them, up on Facebook or YouTube, and you can check them out. So limiting your alcohol, one of the things I do a lot of sparkling water. In fact, I bought a couple years ago I think it was from Williams-Sonoma. They have the glass jar Soda Streams, and I just bought one for the office. And so we use filtered water and we make that ourselves. And so that's a great thing to do. And if you want to put a splash of cranberry juice for a little red and then a lime, so you have a little red and green for the holidays, and nobody even knows you're not drinking alcohol. If you are going to drink alcohol, definitely drink distilled liquors rather than fermented alcohols. Fermented alcohols are literally like liquid yeast. And you always want to be taking a probiotic. So there are 4 essential nutrients or supplements that I have on my website that I believe everybody should take, or virtually everybody, based on my experience in my clinic and seeing nutritional deficiencies. And those are a good, high-quality multivitamin, fish oils, probiotics, and vitamin D. So if you're somebody who follows me, hopefully you're already on a really good quality probiotic. If you do need to take antibiotics, we have a probiotic called S. boulardii, Saccharomyces boulardii, that's been really shown to help, during antibiotic treatment. And you always want to double up on your probiotics and take them 2 hours away from any antibiotics. And looking at stress, and you know, we can't get rid of our stressors, but what are ways that you can manage or relieve your stress during the holidays. And again, I have an entire Facebook Live on this, so I'd highly recommend you go back and watch that. So, and then there are a few other things that you can do. One, if you are somebody who's already knows that you're kind of prone to Candida and you're getting a little off track, you certainly can, take the supplements that I recommend for Candida during the holidays to ward that off. It's sort of like taking digestive enzymes and then eating gluten, so it's not really something I recommend, but I know there's always less than ideal circumstances. But I have something super exciting for you guys. So twice a year, I do a Candida Breakthrough Challenge. Now, I have a Candida challenge or a Candida program that's available all the time on my website. You can get it, anytime you want on my website. And that's a kind of do at your own pace. And it comes with all the supplements that you need to kick Candida for good. And then once or twice a year, I'll do a challenge, and it's called a breakthrough challenge. And the great thing about the challenge is that we all do it together. And I really do it with you. It was tough. I did one back in September. So I do it with you as well. And you get all kinds of support from me and my team. So there are 4 Facebook Lives in a very focused Facebook group. So not on this main Facebook page, but just with the last time it was about 400 people that went through it. So it's about 400 people. And so it's a lot more intimate, and you get to ask me questions. You can submit your questions ahead of time. You can be there live on the Facebook, ask me your questions real time. I answer all your questions. And then myself and my registered dietitian and my team are in that Facebook group during the challenge every day answering your questions. And then, of course, you have the support of everybody else going through it. So we get amazing results every year from this, and we get amazing feedback. And then every time we do it, we, of course, take the feedback and make it even better. So I literally have goosebumps right now because I'm super excited about this, because the program is new and improved, and we are putting all of the supplements in first of all, I've formulated my own supplements. I was using other people's supplements before. So now I've actually formulated all my own supplements. We've been working diligently on that for the last, I don't know how many months. So those will be launching in January. So we'll have customized supplements by me. And then it's all going to be in a cute box. And you're going to get a quick challenge guide in the box. And so, before your supplements just kind of came in a box, and if you ordered other stuff, but it's going to be a kit now. And we've added things like the paleo protein powder to it because people were wanting more, just wanting it easier. So it's more, not that it wasn't a program before, but it's really like a really cohesive program now with everything you need to do. We, of course, have all the meal plans, all the prep. We have a 30-day meal plan for you of exactly what to do. We have breakfast covered with the paleo protein smoothies. We have all the supplements that you need. And this is going to launch all at one time in January. But if you want to be, if right now this is something you want to do, you can join now for January and save, I think it's literally $100. So let me, hopefully my team, you can save $100. So I'm jumping to the punchline here. So, so we'll be doing this, and in these, in the challenge are going to be supplements that are not available on my website yet. So all of this is going to launch in January. In fact, in the month of, now, soon, we are taking down the old Candida program, so you can't even buy it. And if you want to do it, you'll do the January one, or you can buy it afterwards, but you won't get all the support from me. So we have a new product that will be available in the pack, which is called CanDefense, which is a plant-based enzyme that helps to break down the yeast cell wall. So that's something that I formulated and developed myself based on working with literally, maybe even tens of thousands of people with Candida. So this is something I've personally suffered with. I have helped literally thousands of people in my clinic overcome this, and probably tens of thousands with all the people who've done my programs overcome Candida. We have a new formula of caprylic acid that I formulated that is a short to medium fat chain fatty acids that comes from coconut oil that really poke holes in the yeast cell wall that help to combat the yeast. And then it comes with our 100 billion probiotic, which is, of course, super high quality. It's multi-strained. And best of all, it does not need to be refrigerated. It's in nitrogen blister packs that keep it alive until, you know, it hits your gut. And so it really helps to restore your balance. And then new, because we had a lot of people coming to the challenge last time that were not familiar with me. And so changing their diet was very radical for them. And they were having more die-off symptoms than I was used to seeing in my clinic. So I developed an activated coconut charcoal that helps to absorb the toxic byproducts that get released when the yeast is dying off. So it helps to ease die-off symptoms. And then, of course, I mentioned the paleo protein. We have the vanilla paleo protein powder that's being reformulated as well. So all of these are going to come in a box, and we even have a little super cute supplement organizer that will come in the box too. Of course, this is all, you know, great that you get this stuff, but the best part of it is your access to me. And of course, we also have an upgrade where you can add in collagen that helps to support helping to heal the leaky gut, and also L-glutamine and digestive enzymes. So all of this together is going to happen in January. I'll give you the dates in a minute. But the most important part, if you're tired of listening to me, is that you can go to, let me give you the link if you're interested. My team, I'm sure, will put it below as well. But the team is amymd.io/challenge, and you can get $100 off. So we're going to be launching this program in January, and we'll be sending out a lot of emails in January. So if you're not ready to commit, totally fine. We just know that this is going to be a huge event, and our fulfillment center, you know, we're getting all the boxes and all the packets put together. And so if you join now, you'll get your packet in all of your supplements. You should get them earlier than everybody else. We're not sending them out now. They're not going to be sent till January, but yours will be the first to go out. So if you bought anything over Black Friday, maybe your order was a little delayed because we had so many orders. So we're kind of anticipating that with this in January. So what we wanted to do was to give you the opportunity, also have us have some sense of the number of people that will be joining, and give the fulfillment center plenty of time to make all the kits and get them out to you. So we're going to give you $100 off if you commit this weekend to doing the challenge with me and Dana in January. Maybe some of my team will do it too. So I'm challenging my team to do this with us as well. Dana and I always do it whenever we do this, but I challenge some of my team members to do this as well with us. So so you'll get $100 off, and your materials will probably will arrive earlier to you. If you're not ready to commit this weekend, you can certainly sign up in January. Hope you do, but the price will go back up. And this is not a marketing tactic. This is not something I'm telling you now, and then in January, I'm telling you something different. You know me, I say what I mean, and you get what I'm saying, and blah, 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 blah. So not a marketing tactic. This genuinely is what this is. So like I said, there are 4 video Facebook Q&As with me. There's a private Facebook community that is different than this Facebook group, that's much smaller for only the people going through the challenge. So you get support from me, from Dana, my registered dietitian, from my staff, as well as all the other people who are going through the challenge. So just quick couple of things from September. 89% of people reported seeing improvements in their symptoms within the 30-day challenge. So that's pretty significant. 89% of people saw improvement, if not full resolution in their symptoms within the 30-day. And then just a few little quick testimonials from people who did this in September. And of course, we've reformulated it, and it's going to be even better for January. The support of the program and other people was really motivating. The group dynamics and the step-by-step help was instrumental in pushing me through the program to success. That was from Jennifer. Eleanor says, I was so lucky to find this program a week before the challenge started with the group. They were so wonderful and kept me going. Thank you so much for this program and for getting my health back. I have goosebumps. I haven't read these before. I mean, they send them to me as they come in, but I hadn't read these before. So I'm reading them for the first time. My energy, this is from Christine. My energy is rebounding. My thinking is dramatically improved. I have hope for the first time in ages, and I believe that I too can regain my health. The Facebook Lives provided the support I needed, and I learned a lot. Okay, so this weekend only If you want to enroll in the January challenge, if any of those symptoms that I mentioned to you, brain fog, itchiness, digestive issues, rashes, autoimmunity, joint pain can be one. Any of these things that I mentioned earlier, if you are having any of these symptoms, fatigue, this could be Candida for you, and I'd recommend that you enroll in the challenge. So if you do enroll in the challenge, and this challenge is only offered once or twice a year, we definitely are doing it in January. We have not picked another date. I would imagine we're going to do it at some point towards the end of the year, but I don't know 100%. So if you'd like to enroll for the January challenge and save $100, it's $299 for the standard challenge. Again, you get all the supplements that you need to go through it, plus the protein powder. So if anybody's done this in the past, the price is increased slightly to include the protein powders and all the new supplements of the charcoal that were not included in previous packages. And then, of course, you get all the support and the Facebook Lives. If you want the fast track upgrade, which includes the gut healing supplements, which is the collagen, the enzymes, and the L-glutamine, it's $379. So the program is closing in December, which is now. So we're going to take down the program. If it's not already down, it will go down by the end of today, because today is December 1st. And then you won't see the Candida program available. That's because we're gearing up for January. So you'll only see the page to enroll for January. So, so you will not get your supplements right away. This is just for us to know how many people are likely going to be in the challenge, to give you guys a break. Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, whatever holiday you celebrate. Here's a gift to you. And to allow my fulfillment center time to get everything packed up and in the cute box with the sticker and the quick reference guide and all the supplements that you need. And then they'll send that out. So prep week for really the challenge. So if my team could put the actual challenge dates up there, please, that would be awesome. Prep week begins January 22nd. So we're going to give you a little bit of time into the new year to kind of get ready, to get the holidays behind you, return the gifts you didn't like, clean up the Christmas tree, put everything away so that you're not stressed, you're nice and relaxed, you're ready to focus on yourself, focused on kicking your Candida for good. So we're giving you a little bit of time before we actually start the challenge. So, and they're about to put the dates in there for me here in a minute. So prep week will begin January 22nd, and the actual 30-day program will be January 29th till February. They're telling me 1 second. It's a little bit of a delay. So head over to amymd.io challenge if you want to sign up. And the challenge itself runs from January 29th to February 27th. And again, prep week will start the 22nd. So if you enroll now, you'll get $100 off. Your supplements will arrive in early January to you, allowing you to just, get situated. We'll all kick off prep week on the 22nd. Just that's grocery shopping, getting what you need, ready to hit the ground running on January 29th. And myself and Dana will be going through 30 days with you, January 29th through the 27th, with the Facebook Lives, the added support and whatnot. So the $100 off in Sunday, midnight Central Standard Time. Okay, so now there are there's a lot of questions here for me. So I'm going to start answering any questions that you have related to Candida, whether specific to Candida in general, or you have a question about the program or what's included or anything like that. Feel free to ask your question and my team will get it to me. So can I do the challenge if I'm not sure I have Candida? Absolutely. So either one of my books has a checklist. I think there's a quiz too. My team can put in the comment section and you can take the quiz and see if you feel like you have Candida based on that. If you said yes, I would say to one or more of the symptoms that I called out at the beginning. If you're just joining, you can go back and listen. I would say you have Candida. All of the supplements are all natural. They come from coconut derivatives or enzymes. So if you did not have Candida, it wouldn't hurt you to take these, but no one ever wants to spend money on something they don't need. So people have gotten all kinds of benefits. Even if you're just looking for a group to do something together. Maybe you're new and you've never done an elimination diet before and you want to maybe give up gluten or dairy. Maybe you're new to me and you have autoimmunity and you've read the book and you felt like that was a bit overwhelming to do all those foods at one time. Come on in and join the Candida challenge. I bet you probably have Candida if you're suffering from autoimmunity. If you have some sort of chronic illness, you probably have Candida. So even, so then you can come in and you'll have 30-day meal plans. You'll have all of the support from me and my team and the other people going through it. Some people just need that accountability and need that, to show up. There were a lot of people in September, not a lot, people in September that were dealing with things that my sister's getting married. I have this vacation. I'm going through a divorce. My husband's sick. And I have goosebumps right now. The level of support to keep people on track during that was just incredible. Really, really incredible. And I literally am head to toe in goosebumps right now, just thinking back to, those posts from people. So even if you're just looking for some sort of guided thing to kick off your health and to be surrounded by like-minded people going through something together and you need that accountability and support, this is a great program for you because it's not just about treating the Candida. It's, the Myers way. It's a way of life. And if you're new and you have never gone through an elimination diet of giving up foods, we do that too while we're in this challenge. So it can be very helpful. So Lee's struggling with losing too much weight. Is it possible to fight Candida while also trying to gain weight? Absolutely, Lee. In fact, we have a lot of information about that in the course itself because many of my autoimmune patients are in that same boat. Dana has a Facebook Live. We also have an article on that. If you'd like to read that, you can just Google, me and losing weight or something, and I'm sure it will come up. My team will post it below. But that's something that we address while in the course because there are a lot of people like you coming into the course with that concern. V wants to know which test should she ask her doctor to do if we have Candida. So this is kind of a longer conversation, and I have an article on my website my team can post below about testing for Candida. So there are 3 different ways to test for Candida. Well, 4. There's a spit test that you can Google online. As a doctor, I don't recommend that, but I can tell you that it seems to be pretty correlated when I do testing on people. So that's one. Symptoms are the other. That is a really great way, particularly if itching, like anal itching, genital itching, that typically is Candida. But then you can do a blood test that your doctor can order. It's called Candida IgA, IgG, IgM test. And that will just tell you if you have an immune reaction to Candida. Remember, many people have yeast and it's not Candida. So if you have a different type of yeast, that might not come up positive. And that's just telling about an immune reaction. So you could have Candida or a different yeast and just not be having an immune reaction. So that's the limit there. Otherwise, you have to do a stool test, and you need a very comprehensive stool test. And maybe my team could put down the link for the Ulta Labs that we just signed up for. I believe they are doing some stool testing, but Ulta Labs, you could do a comprehensive stool analysis there, and that would tell you about yeast or some type of fungus or Candida in your large intestines. To test for your small intestines and yeast, you need a urine test that looks for the metabolites. Again, these are both functional medicine tests, so may not be available to a lot of people. Most people who do our Candida challenge do not have an actual, lab test showing that they have Candida. They've all gone through the quiz, which my team can post for you, and checked off enough yeses that they assume they had Candida or yeast overgrowth, and they went ahead and did the challenge. That to me is the best, because otherwise you're going to be the test can miss something. You got to get to a practitioner. You got to pay a lot of money for a test, more money probably than the challenge cost itself. So I recommend more going on symptoms than I do actual test. If you're, not a patient or something like that. Jenny, do probiotics need to be soil-based? No, in fact, I don't use the soil-based probiotics when I'm doing the Candida program. We use the comprehensive 100 billion unit regular living organism, the lactobacillus and the bifidobacter. If you're treating something like small bowel bacterial overgrowth, then those I use the soil-based. Jared wants to know what the best time to take probiotics is. In general, any time of the day. If you're going through the Candida program, we walk you through exactly what to do. In fact, in your kit that will come, we have a handy dandy little cheat sheet. I mean, of course, we have lots of materials that get emailed to you, but there's also a handy dandy cheat sheet exactly scheduled when to take everything. We recommend taking the probiotics a little bit away from the supplements that you'll be using to kill the Candida. And then, of course, if you're taking antibiotics, I recommend them 2 hours away. Nancy, how much sugar and or alcohol could a person sneak by with? I don't want to get Candida out of control. I do have a tendency towards leaky gut. Well, just know that sugar and alcohol, both in and of themselves, can cause leaky gut. Now, our gut cells turn over every 24 to 48 hours, so we're naturally always healing our gut. If you want some extra help, you could add in collagen, you could add in L-glutamine. I take those almost daily just to help my gut support it with leaky gut. Everybody's an individual, so there is not a straight answer to this question. For one person, you know, a micro nano bit of gluten could send them over the top. For somebody else, they could eat, you know, a bagel once a week and then it causes them a problem. So I can't say when it comes to the sugar and the alcohol for you personally, but if you're somebody dealing with autoimmune issues, leaky gut, you've had Candida before, I would limit it as much as possible. You could always take the Candida supplements along with it during the holidays and then jump into the challenge. And, you know, you just really have to figure that out yourself. Please know that I am not perfect. You know, I do eat sugar on occasion. I have alcohol even on a rarer occasion, but I do it. So please don't think I don't ever do those things. It's just important to limit them. And if you don't know, I have a cookbook coming out, the Autoimmune Solution Cookbook, May 2018. Dana and I have been working around the clock with amazing recipes that don't have sugar in them. And let me tell you, there is a gingerbread bread/cake that is to die for. It's like all I want for Christmas that Dana came up with, and it's going to be in the cookbook. I can't spoil it. I can't release it before the cookbook because it's just way too good, but amazing. So we're going to have some amazing recipes there for you. And we have a holiday ebook filled with recipes that will not get you off track during the holidays. So go check that out on my website. Misty wants to know if there's a correlation between Candida and scleroderma. I don't know of a one-to-one correlation like, say, eczema and psoriasis with Candida. Those definitely tend to have a component in Candida. However, scleroderma is autoimmune, and most of my autoimmune people do have had Candida as you know, in their gut. So many of the people that I see, you know, do have Candida. So as a root cause of their autoimmunity in general. So there's sort of, is there a link between Candida and autoimmunity? Absolutely. Scleroderma is autoimmune. Is there a link, a one-to-one link with scleroderma specifically, like there is eczema, psoriasis, asthma? I haven't seen that exact link. Can painkillers such as I think that's a paracetamol, is that Tylenol? I think that's the Canadian version of Tylenol, and codeine. Tell me, Ben, if that's Tylenol or if that's an NSAID like Motrin, and codeine feed Candida. So I don't know of the painkiller itself feeding Candida. However, there are studies showing that Motrin, we do know that Motrin can disrupt the gut microbiome, and Motrin directly affects the mucus production in the gut. So Motrin can lead to leaky gut, but I haven't seen anything specific to Candida. But you don't want, you know, Motrin for your gut. Tylenol, on the other hand, goes through the liver, and that affects your detoxification pathways and even like the mitochondria. So you just need to be super careful about that in the liver. But I haven't seen anything with the microbiome or Candida. Juliana wants to know about why are fermented foods not good for Candida. So that's great. I have an article on this. My team can post that. So fermented foods help feed our microbiome, our good bacteria. That's what everybody hears about them. And so it's like, I like to think of it as a fishbowl. And when you put food in, it's not only the good fish eat the food, but the bad fish do too. So when you add in fermented foods that feed, or when you add in the food for the good bacteria, the Candida can feed off of it too. So for me personally, what I recommend for all of my patients and in my programs is to hold off on the fermented foods, kill off all the Candida, then go in with the fermented foods afterwards. So I have a 3-step approach to Candida, and one is starving the Candida or the yeast. So that's what we do in the program. There's a 30-day meal plan designed to starve the yeast. Then we go in and we kill the yeast. And again, I have formulated supplements that will be new in January specific for this program, and then they'll be on my website after that, but we're not releasing those until we do the program. So those are my 1-2 punch of the enzymes to break down the yeast cell wall, and then the coconut that kind of goes in and pokes holes in the yeast cell wall. So between those 2 things, we kill off the yeast. And then we go in and re-inoculate with good bacteria. So that's the 100 billion unit of probiotics. So there's no secret to how I treat yeast. What's really the value in doing the challenge in January. You can get all the supplements on my website if you want. The benefit of doing the challenge in January is we're all doing it together. You have the support of literally hundreds, if not thousands of people. You have a Facebook group dedicated to you. There are 4 Facebook Lives with me. You can submit your questions ahead of time. You can ask me questions during it. You have the support of Dana throughout in the Facebook group, and you have the support of my team. And then, of course, you get all the supplements. You get the 30-day meal plan. You get everything really laid out for you. So this is essentially what I do in my clinic with my patients, but I'm bringing it to you at a fraction of the cost. And if you sign up between now and midnight Sunday, you get $100 off. My gift to you. Okay, so Erica would like to know how much planning and preparation is involved in the Candida Challenge. That is an awesome question. I was sort of already answering that. We have it all laid out for you. It's as much done for you as possible. I can't go get you food at the grocery store, although there are lots of services that can deliver them, but we have the meal plans laid out. We have grocery shopping lists for you. So it's as done for you as possible. We've even included the smoothie powder this time around so that one meal is included and taken care of for you. So you really only have to worry about 2 other meals a day and snacks if you want them. And even dessert. We do allow some dessert. We have some special desserts in the meal plan that you can have dessert. You know us, we're always talking about batch cooking, using leftovers. So and it's one of those things, it's like all my programs, you can follow it to a T and, do a different meal every day, or you can pick, 5 or 6 meals you like, batch cook those, stick them in the freezer and eat those meals. It's not, always is better if you get variety, but it's not so much about you have to eat this. It's more about not eating this and, and then taking these supplements. So it's as done for you as it can be. It's like having me in your house. It's like having Dana in your house. The only thing we haven't done for you is actually do the grocery shopping. And, there's Thrive Market. There's, we have a lot of, you get coupons and stuff too from like Butcher Box and Vital Choice and other places that you can have things delivered to you if you don't want to go grocery shopping. Okay, so a couple more questions here. Juliana, is there a connection between Lyme and Candida? I was told fibro, but then found out Lyme and Babesia. So I did a interview with Dr. Darren Ingalls, who's a Lyme specialist, about the Lyme Candida connection. So there does seem to be one. Lyme suppresses the immune system, which can allow Candida to overgrow. A lot of people that have Lyme, had a suppressed immune system, which is how the Lyme came out, and Candida could be the thing that suppressed the immune system. So yes, it can be there, particularly if you had fibromyalgia. Janet, are blood sugar issues a result of Candida? So these are amazing questions, you guys, and I hope my team is writing these down to add to our frequently asked questions, because y'all's questions have been spot on today. These are really awesome questions about things that, I did not address. So I'm glad you're asking them. I see a lot of people with blood sugar issues because of Candida. Now, if you have diabetes, then you likely, before you got diagnosed, hopefully it's under control now, but before you got diagnosed, most people go a long time with elevated blood sugars, and that can cause Candida. And likewise, if you have diabetes and you go on the Candida program, a lot of people need to reduce their insulin or reduce their meds that they're taking, because once we get rid of that Candida, the blood sugars fall back in line. So there seems to be a real correlation between the two, either the Candida kicking up the blood sugars or the blood sugars being elevated causing Candida. So if you are a diabetic and you plan to go through this program, we do ask that you monitor your blood sugars much more regularly while on the program, and be prepared that you may likely need to reduce your medications as well while on the program and afterwards. Okay, Lee wants to know, can Candida cause chronic constipation? I've had it for 19 years, weeks at a time. Okay, I'm sensitive to coconut. Can I take your coconut charcoal? These are great questions. Lee, I don't know specifically for you. I mean, that would take a little more digging. Constipation can be a lot of things. Candida can be a reason for constipation. SIBO can be a reason for constipation. Low thyroid can be a reason for constipation. Food sensitivities can be a reason for constipation. Not getting enough fiber can be a reason for constipation. And of course, there can be structural abnormalities or masses that can be a cause for constipation. So yes, Candida can be a cause, but there are many causes of constipation. And yes, in terms of the coconut charcoal and the other product that is a derivative of coconut, can you take those if you have a coconut sensitivity? So the answer is everybody's an individual. I cannot speak to you personally, but in general, this is not the coconut protein. So when you have a coconut allergy or you've done any testing, and it came up saying that you're sensitive to coconut, that's for the coconut protein. These are different acids coming from the coconut that typically does not create a problem for people. Also, we have a 30-day money-back guarantee on all programs, all supplements. So, you know, if something's a problem for you, we have a pretty generous return policy, because I really believe in, you know, everything that I sell on my website. And so I'm confident with that return policy. Okay, Erica, in the Candida challenge, do you provide guidance on after the challenge and how to add the foods back in? Yes, Erica, we do. So that was something everybody was begging for our last challenge. So we created that during the last challenge, which is sort of the last week we talk about the Myers way for life and how to add the foods back in. You know, how do you prevent Candida from coming back? What if your Candida didn't go away? What should you be thinking? What should you do next? So we have a whole part of the program that's dedicated to that. Great question. So you guys were really the bomb today in terms of asking these incredible questions. So I'll give you a minute to see if there are any more that pop up. And before I go, I'll just say, let's go over some of those symptoms again for Candida. It is the root cause of many, many illnesses that I see in my clinic, and can be the gateway to a lot of bigger problems like autoimmunity. Brain fog, memory problems, difficulty concentrating. If you're checking yes to one or more of these, certainly 3, ding, 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 Candida. Even 1 can mean Candida. Fatigue, skin issues, itching, eczema, rosacea, rashes, fungal infections on your skin like ringworm, psoriasis, tinea versicolor. Tinea versicolor, ringworm, or fungal infections. Psoriasis is an autoimmune condition. So gut issues, constipation, bloating, diarrhea, mood issues, irritability, mood swings, anxiety, depression. Now this itching, vaginal itching or rectal itching, pathognomonic for yeast. So that's just one. If you've checked yes there, yeast. Severe allergies, itchy ears, usually that's yeast too, and then strong sugar cravings. And I would even add in autoimmunity, fibromyalgia, and chronic fatigue as well. So if you've checked yes to any of those, certainly more than one of those, I would highly suspect Candida could be a root cause for you. And if you go to amymd.io /challenge, you can get $100 off the Candida challenge. That will be happening in January, really the end of January through February. We give you a couple of weeks to get the holidays past you, get settled, to be really ready to focus on this. The value of this is not only do you get all the supplements and everything that you need to do the program successfully. And you even get the protein powders for the smoothies so that you have one meal already made for you. Not only do you literally get everything you need with the 30-day meal plans, with the recipe guides, with all of the supplements and everything that you need, the real value is in having this one-on-one time with me. Now, it's not one-on-one, but rather than thousands of people, tens of thousands of people, watching a Facebook Live, this is a couple hundred people. You can submit your question ahead of time, unlike a Facebook Live here, where we don't have a place for you to submit your question ahead of time. You can submit your questions ahead of time. Dana and I are in the group throughout the challenge. My team is in the group, and then you get the support of everybody else. So whether you have Candida, you're just looking for a way to get your health on track for January, incredible program. And my gift to you is $100 off now until Sunday at midnight. So you can go to amymd.io/challenge, or I'm sure my staff will put a link down there for you as well. All right, everybody, I hope that you have, I'm sure I'll be checking in again before the, holiday and the new year. But for those of you who I don't see before the new year, have very happy holidays. Have a wonderful new year. I hope to see you in January, kicking off the new year, taking back your health, beating Candida for good with me and Dana. All right, everybody, take care. Bye.